Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my June wrap up. I'm going to talk about all the books that I read in June, their ratings and their reviews. First up is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. So I talked a little bit about this book in my previous video. As I said, I tabbed it. So that means that I liked it, but I didn't love it. So as you guys may know, this is a Amazon Prime original series now. It was an okay book. I didn't really love the first book because it was told all in the past tense and it was flat out telling, not showing literally anything. It was like this main character, Belly, was just reliving everything in flashbacks and in her memories, and what was happening in present day wasn't always clear because she went back and forth between flashbacks pretty much every other chapter. So I barely knew what was happening in present day the entire time. And also it wasn't very convincing. I didn't feel connected with any of the characters. I didn't feel the romance literally at all. I just felt like this was very immature. I gave this 3 stars just because I did think that it was a quick, easy summer read. The second book I read is the second book in this trilogy, which is It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han. I also tabbed this one because, like I said in my previous video, there were some noteworthy quotes, but same as the first book, this one was slightly better in terms of the telling and showing issue. The writing in these books is so elementary that I just couldn't really get into it. I didn't really feel invested and feel emotionally invested because they're not very atmospheric. Like the covers make it seem like they're very atmospheric, but you can't really picture anything other than the boys and the main character because the beach house isn't really described. What they're doing isn't really described. It's basically like, we went here, we did this, we said this, and I felt like this. So like I said, very elementary, very immature. This book was slightly better because it focused more on the present tense and it was slightly more detailed than the first book. So I gave this one 3.25 stars. I also read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I was honestly really surprised. I've heard so many people rave about The Cruel Prince and how the trilogy is like one of their favorite book series ever. I read The Cruel Prince and it was just so politically heavy that I just could hardly understand the plot. And maybe 60% into reading the book, I felt like the plot completely switched up and that the author just last minute decided to take the ending into a completely different turn. So I didn't really love that. I didn't really feel connected to the characters at all. I felt that they were also a little bit tacky. I didn't really like any of their personalities. It all just kind of felt like, oh, I'm trying to be quirky and fun and interesting and dangerous and all this stuff. And also I can't get with the fact that the love interest has a tail. So the world was just not what I was expecting. It felt too fairy tale-esque and I wasn't anticipating that when I went into it. I just thought it was a book about fairies. I knew that there was going to be political intrigue, but at the same time I didn't realize that was literally the whole entire plot of the book. Like, it is not a romantasy. It is fully like you're in a different world and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and there's war and there's politics and there's strategy, and it's just not about romance at all. So I didn't love it at all. Honestly, I thought it was actually pretty bad, so I gave it 2 stars. Sorry for people who like it. It just wasn't my cup of tea. That being said, I'm not sure I'm gonna read Wicked King. If you guys think that the series is worth it afterwards, I'll give it a try, but as of right now, I'm not planning on continuing the series. I also read Funny Story. I loved Funny Story. You guys heard me talk about it in the previous video. I tabbed it, I underlined, I highlighted. That book has a piece of my heart. It lives in my heart right now. I am fully enthralled, enamored with Miles and Daphne. I thought the romance was so pure and sweet and genuine. Emily Henry just doesn't miss. She just doesn't miss. So 5 stars all around. Then I read Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun. So in May, I had read the first 2 installments of the Finley Donovan series. In June, I read Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun, and I thought it was so funny. I thought it was so witty. The way that Elle Casamino writes, I think that she is very funny. I think that she includes the perfect amount of humor, the perfect amount of intrigue. There's gangs, there's the mafia, there's a romance, which the amount of subplots and plots that she puts throughout her book that doesn't make it confusing or just seems out of place is amazing. I think everything fits so good because she really makes you feel like you are in this woman's life. You know what's going on. She's living a real life with these crazy, unfortunate things happening to her that she has to then weed out the mess. And also she has kids. So it's just all around so entertaining. I'm having a great time with the Finley Donovan series. I would highly recommend. That had been on my anticipated reads for so long, and now that I'm finally reading them, they're so much fun. Finley Autumn Jumps the Gun was exactly a 4.25 stars. I'm excited to read the next 2 books and even the Veronica Ruiz novella. Then I read We'll Always Have Summer. So this is the last book in the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. And this one I also felt a little bit disconnected with because the first 2 books are Belly trying to figure out which Fisher brother she likes more. And in this one, it's the same plot line, just a year in the future from when the second book ends off. And I don't think that this is a spoiler, but the plot line is essentially who's she gonna get married to. So she has to choose. And the ending, like when I finished the book, I liked the ending because I felt connected to Conrad specifically. I still never really understood Belly because I thought that she was still incredibly mature. And my one issue with this entire series is that there was no character development from any character at all. So they all just stay in their high school minds and mature this entire series. This book, there's a lot more adult content in the sense that they grew up and they're doing adulting things, not like explicit content. But it just didn't feel natural. It just felt like they were kids playing house. The ending made me feel a certain type of way because, like I said, I connected with Conrad by the end, but it still didn't hit. So this was still a 3-star rating for me now that I've sat on it. And then the very last book that I read in June is Swan Song by Ellen Hilderbrand. I love her books. I love how it's just summer on the cover. It's always blue, always the beach, always giving the most summer vibes. This book was so good. She does have an insane amount of characters that you follow throughout her books. In this book, in the beginning, it was kind of like, okay, who's who, who's named what's going on with everybody. You get the hang of it, you figure out who's who and what's going on. Every character has drama. This is the epitome of rich people drama, following along what's happening. There is a plot, I will say there is a mystery plot, which I appreciate. There's also a very small subplot of romance. There's friendship as well. It's not like a heartfelt friendship, it's like the drama within friendships, but it's also still nice. Like there's nice aspects to it. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was such a great time. I did think the ending was slightly rushed and that there's still a few loose ends that could have been more tightly tied. I think there's still a lot of room for ambiguity with 2 specific plot lines. They were like fully left up to the reader to be like, okay, this happened, this didn't happen. The ending can be considered sad if you, like I said, choose a specific ending for what happened because she leaves it up to the reader. But I thought it was a phenomenal book and I thought it was a phenomenal way to end her writing career. She did say that she could be writing more, but this is the end of her Nantucket series, so I thought it was a great way to end. I rated it a 4.75, a strong and good 4.75. These were the books that I read in June. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for my mid-year wrap-up. It's coming out real soon. So thank you guys once again so much for watching. If you enjoy these types of videos, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what books you guys are reading / would recommend for me this summer, and I will see you guys in the next video. God bless you guys and peace.